the battle that you fought getting the operation built at Dayton International, because that wasn't just. I mean, I remember the stories from Gwen and you about how difficult it was.
Well, difficult because we had much money.
Yep.
And of course, we rented a big hangar. We rented one of the big wooden hangars to get us started after we got rid of that little hangar 11, where we had Bill Mayfield and one other guy. I only had two tenants. Wouldn't make much money. Get started out from scratch was pretty hard to do. But when we got in the big hangar, we got more tenants and had a little more income going, so we could take a little money out of it once in a while. And then we got, when the city decided going to tear all those buildings down, then we got real behind, but we had, like I say, Lou Polk's airplane, and Lou come up with approaches for the deal, so we built up hangars. And Bob Bohr was the guy that built those hangars.
Yeah.
He was a builder. That all worked out pretty good.
What role did Barry Craig play in that at all? The airport director at that time.
Let's say not good.
Okay. Because I always heard, our lease up there is unique because of all the operators up there. We own the buildings, yet lease the land, and everybody else, the city owns the building.
City owns everything. Yeah.
Exactly. But wasn't that part of the dealings with Barry Craig that he structured that from the beginning?
I don't remember how we got the lease. We leased the land. We got some kind of deal where we could build the buildings on it with the leased land. I'll forget all the details on that.
So you got started up there. You had your Cessna dealership, obviously.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Skyways and your cousin Gene Netzley.
Well, Gene, nice guy. I'll give him that. But he wasn't a good businessman. He had a partner with him, and his partner got killed in an automobile accident. And he was a pretty good business guy. They grew up together in Laurel, Ohio. And after that happened, when we built our hangar, gave him a little bit of competition. And we still remained friends, but he was a little bit bitter because what he called it checkerboarding, because we built a hangar. Nobody could get to his hangar without going by our hangar. But it worked out. We had a little bit. The hangar he had was really not fit for airplanes because it had
girders in the middle. I remember stacking airplanes in there.
We put airplanes in there. That'd be pretty careful because you could do a lot of damage.
Trust me, I know.
So we had a lot nicer building than he did, and like I said, he had a salesman for him, but he was all right, I guess, in a way. But he helped me in a couple of ways because I went down to where Cherry Bend Farm is.
Yeah, Holly Hollister.
Yeah, Holly Hollister.
So you used to take us down there pheasant hunting.
Yeah. And I was down there one day demonstrating a guy that's selling an airplane. He says, "You mind if my friend rides with us?" And I said, "No, he's in the back." So 172, and we flew that around, and we landed at the little airport there, and Gene's head salesman come in with his Piper and got too close to us, and his wing hit the front of my airplane. And right. Of course, he's all sorry about that and all that. And these guys said, "Well, that idiot." And the guy said, "Okay, Bob." He said, "I'll take an airplane just like you described to me." And the guy in the back said, "I'll take one just like it."
Wow.
Yeah, sold two airplanes.
Yeah.
Piper dealer sold two airplanes for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it was about 74, if I remember right, when Skyways went out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I remember how it happened, and you can correct me, they just shut down. One day they were shut down.
Yeah.
There was no real notice.
Well, Gene was getting up there a little bit in age, a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, good guy, good pilot, but he just didn't take care of business.
So then aviation sales took over the Skyways facility.
Yep.
And we called it Air Flight.
Yep.
And operated it for but maybe a year.
Not too long.
It wasn't too long, because I was the line. I know that because I was the line chief at Air Flight, And Candy Barnett, who is now a senior captain for JetBlue, was our office girl.
Yeah.
And we were the two. That's it. That we were. That was that was it for everyone.
Basic composition was going except for RVs.
Yep. And that's when we really got into the freight business, the charter freight business. Is once Skyways was gone, because they were our competitors for that business, and we really broke into that business then.
Yeah, we had a lot of good freight business.
We sure did. So talk a little bit, and you've got to talk about this. Talk a little bit about Gwen, because obviously her presence was big in the company.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes too big in the company.
Yeah.
But,
she didn't take any guff from anybody. We had a little, I forget what the deal was, but we had a little hoof with the feds, and they was going to come up and get it all squared away, and they come up and was talked a little bit. They were outside, and Gwen walked in, shut the door behind her, locked it, and wouldn't let them in. You know, after that, we never had any trouble with them.
Not at all. No, she was at times, for being a little lady, she was almost larger than life.
She could be pretty tough.
Yeah, real tough.
But she didn't like to fly, had no part of airplane, but she handled the business part good.
She was. That is a great statement to say. It's funny. I learned a lot from both of you guys. I don't realize how much I learn until I get older.
Yeah.
Because when you're younger, you say, "Man, what?" But I really understand the need, and her need in particular, being a woman in aviation in the 1950s and 60s.
There wasn't very many.
To be tough. I mean, she had to be, because nobody's going to take any advantage of her or her company, buddy. Not at all.
Nope.
Nobody. So, yeah. Good. So you went on through, so in the late 70s then, is basically the company continued to grow and thrive. We did pretty good, I think.
Yeah,
the freight business was good. The passenger business was good.
Yep.
Flights
Doctors, I don't know how we did it yet, but one time I went out to Wichita and we picked up 3 twins one day.
You realize I started there in April '73, and it was about May. It wasn't too long before all of a sudden it was a 310 4591 Lima, the 402 3196 Kilo, and I can't remember what the other one was, but they all came taxiing in.
Three twins all one day.
Yep.
I think about that today. I said, how in the world we do that?
I remember. And so,
remember the 402.
Yep.
As soon as we got it on the ground, I had Razor take the interior out and put a panel in. We started using it for freight and for Chrysler.
That wasn't the 402. That was that Twin Beach you bought from Armco. That 7002.
Well,
the 402 was a nice passenger airplane.
Yeah, but we put liners in that and used it for freight.
That was 337 Papa Lima. That 402, because 96 Kilo was brand new when it rolled in. But I also remember that Twin Beach that you bought, that it had the passenger door, and that rolled in with that beautiful interior, and that we took that out. That went on a trip like the next day, and that wasn't the plan. Because we already had one Twin Beach. We had that 469 Delta Mile. But we got the Southern, we got busy, and the plan was, to put an interior in. Well, that plan went out the door in about a phone call, didn't it? Yeah. Because we did not turn down a trip.
Nope.
Oh, you mean freight business?
No.
Yeah.
No. And in those days...
Well, that 402, like I said, I was new with stripping and put those liners in it. And we had a deal with Chrysler.
Yeah.
They had some kind of a part that we had to pick up at one place and take to another place and get treated.
Lee C. Fine Airport in Missouri.
Was it?
Yeah.
And we flew that airplane about 400 or 500 hours just for that one deal.
And then they come back, and that's when you guys asked me if I would deliver the freight at night. In that we got the pickup truck.
Yeah.
And I take it down. I do the deliveries at night with the pickup truck. I think they paid me like $5 a delivery or something. It's big money when you're making $1.80 an hour.
How many trips in the pickup truck did
Well,
it
only
take?
one, only one, and because
Yeah.
we had a big cab over on it.
Yeah.
You probably remember the time we was having trouble with that little box of screws that we got from somebody that had to go to Delco Marine.
Mm-hmm.
And it about yay big, but it weighed about 40 pounds. And our guys, I don't know if you or somebody else took it down, and they said to the guy at the dock, the guy said, "We'll take that," the union guy,
Yeah.
for some reason. Didn't
Yeah.
fit. So I knew that, they needed them screws real bad. So they come back to the office with them screws and told me so. The guy wouldn't even let me leave him there.
That guy won't take
The
them.
guy wouldn't take him. He said, "Don't leave me there." The union guy. I said, "Give him to me." I went down to the dock. Same guy comes out. Said, guy was here with them screws a little bit before. I said, "Was he?" I dropped him on his toes. He was gone, limping away, screaming at me, But at least the guy, the foreman who we worked with, I called him and got him. I said, "Your screws are here." He said, "I thought you were going to be here and I let you go." I said, "We was, but your guy wouldn't take them." I said, "Right now he's got a sore foot." He took them.
Well, it was an interesting time. I was fortunate enough to start dispatching when I was only 20 or 21, and then what you had to dispatch with was a map on the wall. You had an old book of airline distances between cities. I still got it, which was not all the cities. And then you guys had paid some big money for that printout. Remember, they had that blue printout
Yeah.
of somebody had did an early computer, and it was not cheap, which connected Dayton to some of the littler airports, but you didn't have the connecting airports, which means you have to go back to the book or the string.
Yep.
But also, what you didn't have to be if you were a dispatcher, and it was a great game. There was no internet, so no one could check your weather. There was no way to see where the airplane really was.
Mm-hmm.
So you could get very creative about taking trips, and the relationship that you got with the traffic managers was very important in Dayton.
Yeah.
That was, you had to belong to the Dayton Traffic Manager Club, and also one of the things we did, and we were never big on whining and dining people. Bob might take some guys golfing once in a while. In fact, remember what Conrad Gertis did to us, and we had to go down and talk to the investigative arm of General Motors because he was pointing fingers that we had the traffic managers in our pocket, and we didn't then. But one of the things we marketed was, and they were popular as hell, was the desk calendars. Remember the desk pad calendars that we used to get and take to the traffic managers? You and I would take them, and the traffic departments would ask for those calendars. The ASI desk pad calendars. They were that was our number one marketing tool for General Motors at the time. So.
We took good care of them. We treated them right, price-wise and everything. In fact, remember Jack, not real Jacques or something like that.
Yeah.
Flew for us.
Jacques Launchablanc.
Launchable.
Yeah.
He had a trip taking some stuff up to Detroit, and the weather was real bad. And you got up there and below minimum, you couldn't land. And they needed these parts real bad. So here's Jack back at the airport. And they called and said, "Boy, we need the parts." I said, "We can't land, but we'll get them there." So I put them in my car and drove them up.
Yep.
And they just charged them for that one trip,
Sure.
But we took care of them.
That's the only way you stay in business.
Once in a while, they we got this complaint. I said, "Well, let's find out what it's about." And every time we come up, it was always in our favor. Somebody else was trying to chisel
We'd
it
have
out.
to go down. We'd have to go. Bob and I went one time. Conrad Gertis was trying to get the business, and he said, "Well, the only reason ASI continually has the business is because they're on the take, or they're buying off. So they have a GM investigative arm, and they called us down. We went down. We had to sit there and talk and tell them, and you know, and there was nothing. But remember, because of the last one, I don't know if you remember this, remember George Janicki?
Yeah.
Well, because of that investigation, we were clean, but they found out George was, I think, on take with the rail or trucking companies, and he lost his job. He got
Yeah.
replaced.
Hmm.
He'd been there a long time.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great time for me. So anyhow, late '70s, big player in charter, flight school going good, and then we got the call from the city of Dayton to go back to Dayton Wright Brothers, Montgomery County, and Bob can
Yeah.
talk about that. That's a big story right there.
Well, what happened down there is, like I say, the reason we left down there because Kevin's old attorney just put too much heat on us and we couldn't handle it anymore. So we just left, and then Dora Scott of Scott Equipment Company, she had this thing that she wanted to learn to fly, and this she talked with I guess the same attorney and got a deal to kick us off the airport, and she could come down and we'd build a nice big hangar. Well, it was fine because they had the money to do it, so they put that big hangar up. It's up there we're operating out of now, and that cost them. Foreman put that up.
Yep.
Foreman Movers, and I don't know whether they ever got paid or not. But, and then after 5 years,
Bo would have pissed it away anyhow. So.
but they had it for 5 years.